Have you ever looked in the mirror and felt a little surprised by something new, maybe a subtle scent, a different shape to your ears, or a midsection that doesn't look quite the same as it used to? Aging in men doesn't always follow a predictable roadmap. In fact, some of the most telling signs aren't even the ones most people talk about. Sure, we hear plenty about wrinkles, gray hair, and reduced stamina, but underneath the surface, there are shifts happening every single day. Some of them you might notice only when you look back at a photo from 5 or 10 years ago. Others can sneak up on you from 1 month to the next, leaving you wondering why a particular shirt feels tighter or your favorite pair of shoes no longer fits just right. It's natural to assume that little physical changes are all just part of getting older, but each shift has its own fascinating backstory, a reason you might find quite compelling once you dig into it. Learning about these lesser discussed facets of aging can empower you to make decisions that keep you feeling spry, balanced, and more confident than ever. After all, knowledge is one of the best tools we have when it comes to staying healthy and active, no matter how many birthdays we've celebrated. This is your invitation to explore the unexpected. We're going far beyond common cliches like, watch out for a receding hairline, or you'll probably shrink an inch or two. Instead, we'll journey through some surprising changes that crop up in the everyday lives of older men, changes that carry real implications for comfort, mobility, and overall well-being. From a subtle yet persistent odor that won't seem to leave your clothes, to the surprising science behind ears that seem to never stop growing. Let's take a closer look at what's truly going on. As you read, consider the ways these changes might already be surfacing in your life, and think about how a little awareness can spark a renewed sense of control. One of the most overlooked signs of aging in men is the emergence of a unique body scent. Often, men realize something is different when their shirts or jackets smell vaguely musty or earthy even after a fresh wash. You might assume it's a laundry issue or that your deodorant stopped working, but in many cases, what you're dealing with is a natural byproduct of your skin's chemistry. Scientists have pinpointed a compound called 2-nonenal, sometimes referred to as a marker of aging, which tends to increase as skin cells turn over more slowly and oils oxidize on the surface. Younger skin sheds and renews faster, washing away excess oils and reducing odor buildup. But as men grow older, the skin's natural renewal process decelerates. This means your skin can hold on to oxidized fatty acids for longer periods, giving off a distinctive aroma that clings to clothing fibers. Interestingly, this scent isn't always something you'll notice yourself. As you grow accustomed to it, your nose may tune it out. Others, however, might pick up on it, especially younger family members or friends who visit your home. Some describe it as smelling like old books, wood, or a faint grassy note. It's subtle enough that it doesn't scream body odor, yet persistent enough that it can linger on fabrics even after a thorough laundering, causing mild embarrassment or confusion. If you've ever wondered why certain shirts still carry a distinct aroma no matter what detergent you use, the issue lies in how 2-nonenal binds to fabric. It can be resistant to standard soaps and conventional body washes. This is why specialized soaps and detergents exist, ones formulated to break down these stubborn fatty compounds more effectively. Additionally, focusing on a diet rich in antioxidants might help reduce oxidative stress throughout your body, potentially slowing the accumulation of these odor-causing chemicals in the skin. Before you shrug it off as something beyond your control, remember that daily habits can make a real difference. Even small tweaks, like showering more frequently with a specialized soap or changing your sheets and pillowcases more often, can mitigate that lingering scent. Think of it as one of those quiet, under-the-radar changes that comes with age, a reminder that you're evolving in ways you never expected. And while you can't halt the clock, you can definitely manage how gracefully you move forward. Look at a photo of yourself from your 20s or 30s, then compare it with a recent picture. There's a fair chance you'll notice your ears appear a bit larger, maybe even more elongated. This isn't your imagination playing tricks on you. Ears do, in fact, keep growing as the years go by, and that growth often becomes more pronounced past middle age. The phenomenon relates to cartilage, which doesn't stop regenerating the way bones do. Cartilage contains collagen and elastin, fibrous proteins that provide both structure and flexibility. Over time, however, these proteins can degrade or lose resilience, causing the cartilage to sag or stretch. Additionally, the constant pull of gravity exerts a slow but steady downward force on your ears. Coupled with the cartilage's continued growth, you end up with ears that are measurably larger and droopier compared to your younger years. For many men, this isn't just a minor aesthetic concern. Some feel self-conscious, especially if their ears protruded in their youth or if they've always been sensitive about their facial proportions. Social cues also play a part. You might get teased, even lovingly, by friends or family pointing out that your ears appear wiser. Yet for others, this growth simply flies under the radar until they catch a side profile in a window reflection. Thankfully, larger ears are rarely a health risk. They can, however, impact how you wear glasses or hats, sometimes making these accessories feel too tight or positioned differently. If you notice your ears becoming uncomfortable under a headset or the arms of your glasses, you're experiencing a practical side effect of that cartilage change. What can you do about it? Some men opt for minor cosmetic procedures to trim or tighten the earlobes, though that's a personal choice rather than a health necessity. For others, maintaining collagen levels through a balanced diet, staying hydrated, and protecting the skin from UV damage can help slow down the ear's stretching effect, at least marginally. While you can't outright prevent ear growth, you can address some of the factors that exacerbate drooping, like excessive sun exposure that breaks down elastin, or smoking, which accelerates skin aging. Consider your ears a subtle sign of wisdom, a physical representation of a life filled with experiences. Just as a tree's trunk thickens with each ring, your ears serve as a small but noticeable chronicle of your personal journey through the years. One of the most common wake-up calls about aging is the stubborn belly that refuses to budge. You might step on the scale and see numbers similar to those you saw a decade ago, yet your waistband feels tighter and your shirts strain at the buttons. If this sounds familiar, you're not alone. The midsection is a prime spot where older men tend to accumulate fat, a shift driven by decreased testosterone levels, a slower metabolism, and changes in activity patterns. When you're younger, higher testosterone levels help maintain muscle mass. Muscle is metabolically active. It burns more calories at rest than fat does. As men age, testosterone naturally dips, making it easier to gain fat and harder to build or retain muscle. Even if your total weight hasn't changed significantly, the ratio of muscle to fat might be changing behind the scenes. Hence, you get that skinny fat phenomenon. Arms and legs might remain fairly slender, but the belly grows. Beyond aesthetics, this accumulation of belly fat can trigger a domino effect of health concerns. Excess abdominal fat is known to release inflammatory signals into the bloodstream, which can raise the risk of heart disease, type 2 diabetes, and certain types of cognitive decline. The typical apple shape that older men develop isn't just a matter of looking a certain way in photos. It's a red flag for internal metabolic imbalances. Yet there is good news for anyone feeling disheartened. Strategies to combat midsection weight gain don't have to be complicated. Resistance training can help rebuild or maintain muscle, which in turn revs up your resting metabolism. Simple strength exercises like squats, lunges, push-ups, and weightlifting can steadily chip away at the hormonal and metabolic shifts, contributing to stubborn belly fat. Nutritional tweaks, such as increasing your protein intake and reducing processed carbs, also help. And never underestimate the role of regular sleep. Chronic sleep deprivation can worsen hormonal imbalances, fueling cravings and weight gain. It's also crucial to remember that you don't have to transform yourself overnight. Consistent effort, like a short daily walk, a modest improvement in dietary choices, or a few minutes of targeted exercise, adds up over the weeks and months. Before long, you may find your belt fitting a little more comfortably and your energy levels creeping back to something you remember from years past. Many men overlook the state of their calves until they realize walking up a flight of stairs feels tougher than it once did. Calf muscles, located at the back of your lower legs, are integral to stability and mobility. They help propel you forward when you walk, climb, or run. Yet, as you grow older, these muscles can gradually lose size and strength, a condition often referred to as muscle atrophy. The triggers for calf atrophy are many, but hormonal fluctuations, including lower testosterone, and a natural decline in growth hormone play major roles. Physical inactivity compounds the problem. Even if you're on your feet every day, chances are you're not sprinting, jumping, or performing intense activities that deeply engage your calf muscles. Over time, the body decides it doesn't need to maintain as much muscle tissue, and it reallocates resources elsewhere. Another factor to consider is circulation. As you age, blood flow to the extremities may decrease, meaning muscles get fewer nutrients and less oxygen. Weaker circulation can slow down recovery after minor strains or damage, accelerating the shrinking process further. You might find that after a day of activity, your calves feel sore longer than they used to, discouraging you from keeping up an active routine. The consequences go beyond appearance. Reduced calf strength can compromise your balance, making slips and falls more likely. It can also limit your walking speed, agility, and overall stamina. Activities you once took for granted, like gardening, hiking, or carrying groceries, might begin to feel like a chore. For some men, this leads to a vicious cycle. The calves weaken, daily tasks become harder, and you become even less active, accelerating further muscle loss. So what's the solution? Start with gentle but regular strengthening exercises. Even small actions, like standing calf raises near a chair for support or walking on a slight incline, can stimulate muscle growth. Pair that with a protein-rich diet, lean meats, dairy products, legumes, or fish to provide the building blocks your muscles need. Some older men also find success with resistance bands or light weights, incorporating seated calf raises if standing is too strenuous. Staying proactive about calf strength can pay off in spades, granting you independence and confidence as the years roll on. There's a satisfaction in knowing that a trip to the mailbox or a stroll through the park won't leave you winded or wobbly, and that confidence often spills over into other areas of life. 2, because the ability to move freely is deeply tied to how we experience our day-to-day world. Hair can tell you a lot about a person's age, health, and even stress levels. For older men, the transformation in hair can be both obvious, think thinning on top, and oddly subtle, like an increase in wiry strands sprouting from ears, nostrils, and eyebrows. You might notice you're spending more time grooming facial hair you barely paid attention to before, or you're finding stray hairs in places you never expected. What's driving these changes? Hormones are a big part of the story. As men age, there's a gradual shift in the balance of androgens like testosterone and dihydrotestosterone, DHT. These hormones can signal certain hair follicles on the scalp to shrink, leading to the classic receding hairline or thinning crown. Meanwhile, other follicles, particularly those in the ears, nose, and eyebrows, become more sensitive to hormonal signals that encourage vigorous growth. That's why you might see thicker, longer, or coarser hair in these areas even as your scalp hair diminishes. Texture is another factor. Hair that was once soft and manageable can become coarse, brittle, or prone to dryness. This happens because your scalp produces less oil over time, and hair follicles receive fewer nutrients if your circulation has decreased. Even changes in medication or nutrition can influence hair texture and growth patterns, so it's not always easy to pinpoint a single cause. For some men, going gray is another milestone that arrives at varying ages. Contrary to popular belief, going gray is largely driven by genetics. The cells that produce pigment in your hair, melanocytes, eventually slow down and stop working. Stress can potentially speed up the process, but if your parents or grandparents turned gray early, chances are you will too. Addressing these hair changes is more about acceptance and smart grooming than it is about a miracle cure. Some men find value in medicated shampoos or treatments designed to slow hair loss. Others embrace the thinning or graying look, opting to keep their hair cut short or go completely bald with style. Trimming unwanted ear, nose, and eyebrow hair regularly can help you maintain a neat appearance. If your scalp feels dry or irritated, choose shampoos formulated for sensitive skin and scalp health. Small adjustments in diet, such as adding more iron or vitamins, can also support healthier follicles. Ultimately, the world of hair care is personal and flexible. You can focus on slowing the effects of aging, Or you can lean into the natural changes and let your hair tell a story of experience and wisdom. Either way, understanding why these changes occur can help you avoid frustration, plan a better grooming routine, and keep your confidence intact. Take a moment to picture yourself sitting or standing. Are you slouching more now than you did a few years ago? Has your lower back been feeling stiffer lately? Posture is one of those silent markers of age, one that creeps up slowly until one day you notice your shoulders are rounded or your back feels perpetually sore. One reason for this gradual change is bone density loss. Men, like women, experience a decrease in bone mass over time, though men typically start with denser bones and lose density more slowly. Nevertheless, by the time you reach your 60s or 70s, you may begin noticing a slight reduction in height. The vertebrae in your spine can compress, and the cartilage between discs can wear down, contributing to that shrinking sensation. Muscle weakness, especially in the core and back, magnifies these issues. Your core muscles play a crucial role in supporting the spine. When they weaken, the spine has to carry more stress by itself, often leading to chronic discomfort or noticeable curvature. Think of your spine as the central pillar of a building. If the support beams around it weaken, the entire structure can tilt forward or slump. Lifestyle habits greatly influence the rate of bone density decline. If you spend a lot of time sitting, the lack of weight-bearing activity sends signals to your body that your bones don't need to stay as strong. Conversely, regular exercise, especially resistance training, brisk walking, or light jogging, helps maintain both muscle strength and bone density. Vitamin D and calcium intake also matter. Without enough calcium, your body may leach this mineral from your bones. Vitamin D is essential for calcium absorption, so older men who don't get sufficient sunlight or dietary sources might see an accelerated loss of bone mass. Fortunately, adopting a proactive stance can make a big difference. Focus on exercises that align the spine, such as yoga stretches or Pilates-based core workouts. If you're not keen on classes, even a daily regimen of standing tall, bracing your abdomen, and taking slow, deliberate walks can promote better posture. For bone health, look into foods like dairy, leafy greens, and fish high in calcium. Vitamin D can come from sunlight and fortified foods or supplements if your doctor recommends them. Standing straight isn't just about looking younger or more confident. It's also about protecting yourself from injuries. Poor posture places uneven strain on muscles and joints, increasing the likelihood of falls or aches that linger for weeks. By staying vigilant about bone density and posture, you give yourself a stronger foundation for all the other activities you love. We often joke about senior moments, but it can be unsettling when you can't recall someone's name or forget why you walked into a room. Cognitive changes in older men can be as subtle as slight memory lapses or as obvious as struggling to follow conversations in a noisy environment. While serious neurological conditions warrant professional attention, many cognitive shifts are just a natural part of aging. Your brain, like the rest of your body, undergoes gradual changes over time. Neurons may fire less efficiently, and the speed at which you process new information can decline. It's similar to a computer that accumulates files over the years, taking a bit longer to search for what it needs. Yet plenty of factors can either accelerate or slow this process. Chronic stress, poor sleep, and an unhealthy diet can all aggravate cognitive decline. Conversely, regular mental stimulation, puzzles, reading, creative projects acts like exercise for the brain, helping keep neural pathways nimble. One particular challenge older men face is balancing new information while filtering out distractions. You might find it harder to multitask or to ignore background noise. It's not that you've lost the ability to concentrate entirely. Rather, the filter that once easily tuned out irrelevant stimuli may have weakened. This explains why a bustling restaurant or a family gathering with multiple conversations can suddenly feel overwhelming. Additionally, hormonal changes and reduced blood flow can impact brain function. Testosterone has neuroprotective properties, and lower levels might make you more susceptible to mental fatigue. Even slight changes in circulation, especially if you're dealing with high blood pressure or cardiovascular issues, can influence your brain's performance. The good news is that many older men successfully preserve sharp cognition through healthy routines, like moderate exercise, balanced eating, eating and mindful relaxation techniques. If you're noticing more frequent memory lapses, consider it a signal to evaluate your daily habits. Are you staying hydrated, getting at least 7 to 8 hours of sleep, and engaging your brain in challenging tasks? Many men find that simply learning a new hobby, such as cooking, playing an instrument, or speaking a new language, helps keep the brain agile. Social connections also matter. Conversations and interactions with friends or community groups can stimulate mental agility in ways solitary activities might not. Remember the days when you could twist an ankle on a weekend hike and be back to normal in a matter of days? Or when a simple bruise would fade almost as quickly as it appeared? As you grow older, your body's natural repair systems don't respond as briskly as they used to. This slower pace of healing can manifest in various ways. Cuts linger before scabbing over. Bruises seem more pronounced, and muscle soreness after a workout can last far longer than expected. One reason behind this reduced healing speed is a gradual decline in collagen production. Collagen is a protein responsible for skin elasticity and tissue repair. When collagen levels drop, wounds may take longer to close, and scars might become more visible. Circulation also plays a critical role. If blood flow isn't as robust, tissues don't receive the nutrients and oxygen they need to regenerate quickly. This is particularly important for men who have underlying cardiovascular issues, as limited blood supply can stall the healing process even further. Inflammation is another piece of the puzzle. A younger body can mount a quick inflammatory response to clear out damaged cells and then swiftly transition to the healing phase. In older adults, this response can become either sluggish or overly aggressive, drawing out the recovery timeline. That's why some men notice persistent swelling around a minor injury, or that they stay sore for extended periods after routine tasks like rearranging furniture or gardening. Practical strategies can help mitigate these frustrations. First, ensure you're getting enough rest. Lack of sleep can sabotage your body's repair efforts, weakening your immune system. Second, consider gently increasing your circulation with mild exercise, massage, or warm soaks. This helps deliver vital nutrients to damaged tissues. Third, pay attention to what you eat. Proteins, vitamins, especially vitamin C for collagen synthesis, and minerals like zinc all contribute to faster healing. And if you're dealing with chronic inflammation, diets low in sugary or highly processed foods can be beneficial. For men who love being active, whether that means taking daily walks or playing with grandchildren, slower healing can feel like a huge obstacle. The key is to adapt and plan activities more strategically. If you know your body needs more time to bounce back, schedule rest days and prioritize gentle stretching. This isn't about surrendering to age. It's about working smarter to preserve the health and vitality you still have. Viewed from that angle, slower healing is less of a barrier and more of a reminder to nurture your body and treat it with respect. By now, you've seen how the aging process shapes men's bodies in ways both expected and surprising. From the production of a persistent skin sent to ears that never seem to stop growing, from bellies that expand more easily than they once did to calf muscles that fade if left unattended. Each transformation serves as a subtle message. Sometimes it's a cue to adopt a new fitness habit or tweak your diet. Other times, it's a gentle signal that your body is telling its own story of growth, adaptation, and wisdom gathered through the decades. Remember that aging doesn't mean surrendering to discomfort or worry. It means learning how to manage these changes with intention. Whether you're exploring specialized soaps for that lingering odor, adding resistance training to your weekly schedule, or simply ensuring you get enough sleep for optimal healing, small efforts can lead to significant improvements. Those improvements aren't just about looking good. They're about moving through the world with confidence, strength, and an underlying sense of well-being. So, which of these signs has resonated with you the most? Maybe it's the realization that your ears really have changed shape, or perhaps you're thinking twice about that stubborn belly. Whatever caught your attention, let it serve as motivation to learn more about your body and to take proactive steps toward health. Aging may be inevitable, but embracing it with knowledge, self-care, and a willingness to adapt transforms it into an opportunity for growth instead of a cause for regret. If you found these insights valuable, consider sharing what stood out to you in your daily life. Have you caught a whiff of that elusive scent on a favorite shirt? Or did you recall a time when your recovery from a minor injury took far longer than anticipated? Your experiences might echo those of others. And by sharing, you help build a community of men determined to navigate aging on their own terms. Here's to turning each new day into a chance for better understanding, improved health, and renewed vitality at any age.